This is the inside of the Elddis Majestic 185. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on by flicking the master switch just here. Once we've done this, you'll see that some of the lights have now come on. These can all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then we also have this switch here which says lights, which will do the top entrance lighting just here. Beneath that we have awning light on and off, water pump on and off. Whenever the water pump is running, the green light will come on to let you know it's in operation. The red light will illuminate above it when the grey water tank needs emptying. At the moment this dial here is just giving us the voltage of the leisure battery. If I now hold the water button down, we can then look at the blue gauge and it will then let us know how much water is in the fresh tank. Tank heaters on and off just here. These are automatic, so even though I've now flicked it to the on position, they haven't necessarily come on. There needs to be firstly water in the tanks, and secondly the outside temperature needs to be below about 3 degrees. If I now move to the whale control panel, this is for the heating and hot water system. You'll see that you have water heater here and then heating here. And if I start with the water heater, if I begin to press the button, you'll see that it goes over a series of icons until it eventually ends up back at off. So if we start with the first icon just here, a little picture of a snowflake, this is the boiler's frost protection mode. It will just put a small temperature into the fresh water tank to avoid any freezing if you are using the motorhome in cold climate and don't necessarily want to be heating your hot water. Next we have a single wavy line. Wavy lines represent mains electricity. So I always round these up to make it slightly easier. I class this now heating hot water using main supply at about 1 kilowatt. If I now press it again, 2 wavy lines, mains electricity at 2 kilowatts. So this is all just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If we have no main supply, we can run the boiler on gas, with a little picture of the flame just here. Whenever the unit is consuming gas, you will get a little flame just appear to let you know. If you want to get up to temperature very quickly and you have both power sources available to you, you can run in dual fuel, so a mixture of gas and mains at 1 kilowatt and a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatts. If I now move down to the heating, same again, you get all the icons until you eventually end up back at off. And again we have a single wavy line, which again is main supply, but this time using about 500 watts. We then have main supply using about 1 kilowatt and then main supply using 2 kilowatts. So again, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. Next we have, again, gas on its own if we have no main supply. And then we have the dual fuel setting. Plus and minus to pick the temperature you require in the motorhome. So at its hottest and then at its lowest. The little picture of the moon is what Whale recommends you have the heating set to if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. This will roughly heat up to about 16 degrees, which is a comfortable temperature for sleeping in. But secondly, the fan will also be a lot quieter. And again, whenever you're consuming gas, a little flame will appear. If it fails to light or there's a problem in any other way with either unit, if it's a water heater issue, you will get a red exclamation mark just appear where my finger is here underneath the flame. And if it's a heating issue, just here underneath this flame. Once the red exclamation mark has appeared, hold down whichever button it is corresponding with, and then you'll get a series of red lines appear, and then within the manual it will tell you what the problem is. If it's something relatively easy, like it's telling you you have no main supply because you have tripped or not actually plugged yourself in, or if it's a gas issue and it's telling you you've run out of gas, etc. Once you've rectified the problem, you will need to basically reset this control panel. And the way this is done, if it's a water heater issue, just hold the water heater button in and then press plus at the same time. And then if it's a heater issue, hold the heater button in and then press the plus, and then they'll clear down. If I now just return them back to off again, you'll see that once they turn off, the flames will disappear. And the heating will continue to run for a few minutes as it just goes through a cool down period. If I now just move to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and if I now just lift up, you'll see we have a little bit of storage under here. We also have one of the fold out travelling seats as well. And then just tucked down here is the location of the boiler itself. So we have the gas isolation tap for it just there. It is in the on position, and quite frankly it can stay there. I always say with all gas isolation taps, if you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. These are more for maintenance. So to drain the boiler down for winterization, firstly make sure that the water pump has been turned off. And then return to the boiler and then just twist the yellow lever across like so, and it will then begin to drop all the water out of the boiler underneath the motorhome at this point here. I always suggest that if you are fully winterizing the motorhome, that you then also go around and open up all of the taps in the motorhome, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and make it drain off more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, make sure the taps are closed. Reclose the boiler, fill up the fresh water tank, turn on the 12-volt system, and then fire up the water pump. The pump will then begin filling up the boiler. Let it run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. You will see just tucked in the back corner of the boiler a little red button. This is its hard reset. So if you are getting that red exclamation mark and you've tried to reset it on the control panel but it will not clear down, you can hard reset it just here. This is easier as a two-person job. One person stares at the screen whilst the other person repeatedly presses the red button until it clears down. Underneath the opposite bench seat, again, you have the other fold-up travelling seat, and then more storage. Fridge just here. So at the moment it's in the off position. If you're connected to main supply, this can be run on mains by simply turning the dial to the little picture of the 2-pin plug. After that we have a little picture of a battery, and this is 12-volt maintain, and this is the setting we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. It will only operate when the engine is running, and you do need to drop the fridge down to temperature before putting it onto this, as it will only maintain the temperature it has been dropped to. If you have no main supply, you can run the fridge on gas, by turning to the little picture of the flame. To light, come across to the temperature control just here. And then what we want is for this line here to drift out of the white into the green to indicate it is lit. So to light, hold in and then press the igniter. Once you let go, as long as it stays in the green, you know it's lit. If it drops back off, just repeat the process. It can sometimes take a few goes, especially when a new gas bottle has been put on, because there will be some air in the system. And as soon as I turn it back to anything else, it will automatically put itself back out again. Removable freezer box at the top. Above the sink we have the microwave. This will only work when the motorhome is connected to mains electricity. To use it, firstly press the eco button. This will then wake it up. And then we have all the usual quick start just here. And stop. We have auto cook, defrost, etc. all just there. Always advisable to make sure that all contents have been removed for travel. In the overhead compartment just here, we have where the microwave is plugged in just here, and then we also have the solar panel regulator. We don't really need to do anything with this regulator. It will just let you know what it's up to. So you'll see at the moment we have a solid green light on just there, indicating that the leisure battery is fully charged at the moment. Whenever it's popping a charge into the battery, it will flash green. Hob. So we have the electric hot plate, like the microwave, will work when connected to mains electricity, and it operates just here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. We then have the 3 gas burners, and that is just a matter of pushing in, twisting round, and then coming down to the front of the cooker and pressing the igniter. Beneath that we have the grill, and again just push in, twist and press the igniter. And then the oven just beneath that. Beneath the oven you will have storage, but you will also find gas isolation taps underneath here as well for the cooker, the hot plate and for the fridge. Plug plugged in is for that electric hot plate, so you can isolate it just there. Above my head is the Omnivent Fan. To use this, firstly wind the roof vent open, and then the middle button turns the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. And then close the roof vent back up again. In the overhead locker here is the television aerial. So to use this, loosen the collar just here and then push the mast of the TV aerial up, twist it around and get it into the position that you require, and then tighten it back up again. Try to avoid over tightening because you can split the plastic. At the moment the aerial is sitting in the horizontal position. By turning the tail just here, you can flip it onto its side into the vertical position for additional tuning. The digital amplifier for the television aerial is just here, on and off underneath, and then control the boost just here. Once you've got your aerial and your booster on, plug your television in just here, so you've got 12 volt if you're running a 12 volt TV, your aerial point just here, and then a couple of sockets there, and then just tune your TV in. You'll also see that we have USB charging here as well. Do make sure that the aerial is down for travel. Consumer unit just here. So you will see that we have the trip switches just here for the main supply. So you've got your individual MCBs just here, and they're all labelled up. And then we have the main RCD and test button just here. So if anything's not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped. We then have our 12 volt fuses just here. And again, they're all labelled up, so if anything's not working on 12 volt, just check to see if a fuse has blown. If we now just go underneath the bed just here, we have the back of the consumer unit just here. So this is the actual battery charger. So this is what's charging the leisure battery when the motorhome is connected to the main supply. Just make sure that nothing is obstructing this, as it does get warm. We also have the water pump just here. This white section here is just the surge dampener. It just reduces pump shudder as the pump is running. Tucked just here is the gas isolation tap for the heating, and then you will actually see the space heater just here. And again, this also has a red reset button just down here where my finger is. So again, if you can't clear that red exclamation mark down, you can hard reset it at this point. Storage drawers all beneath this bed, and then if I move through to the rear of the motorhome, we then have the washroom, light cord just here. So we have the shower cubicle. Do make sure that the shower screen is secured for travel. We then have the basin and the cassette toilet. So the bowl does swivel about. To open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across just here, and this will then open the flap. Blue button to flush, and then close the cassette back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left it open. And then we have the level indicator just here, so this will illuminate when the cassette needs emptying. Wardrobe just above. To make the front bed couldn't be simpler. It is just a matter of slightly lifting up and then sliding across, and then doing exactly the same again on the other side, and then just dropping in the cushions just like so. I prefer to personally flip the cushions over because it then makes it a lot less bumpy, but it is just down to personal preference. As you can see, both seats do swivel round. They swivel round. If I firstly just pull this lever and just pull it forward slightly, they swivel round on this lever just here. They are also both height adjustable on the side levers just here.